Hey, everybody, welcome back to the pod. This is your girl, Britt, and you're listening to Thanks, But No One Asked You, a podcast where storytelling meets unsolicited advice from yours truly. And just to be clear, you didn't ask for this story, but you're welcome in advance. All right, I want to tell this story because when I first heard it, I fell out laughing, and I think it's very relevant for today. me. Okay. There once was a boy, a man, and a donkey. And they were headed down the mountain to town to go to the market. And on their way to town, the man and the boy were walking alongside of the donkey. And all the townspeople that they passed were looking and pointing and laughing. Look at these two, they're so stupid. They have a whole donkey and no one's even sitting on it or riding on it. That's dumb. The boy and the man looked at each other, shrugged, and they put the boy on top of the donkey. So now they continue on their journey. Do you know the next town that they got into? More townspeople, different townspeople, pointed and laughed. Oh my God, look at that little boy. Disrespectful. That man just lets that boy disrespect him like that. That boy riding on that donkey while that poor old man walks. What a shame. What a shame. Well, now the boy and the man panic. They take the boy off. They put the old man on. They continue down the road. And when you know it, they get to another town and another group of people point and wave their fingers. How dare you, old man, making that poor boy walk while you ride that donkey. Shame on you. Shame, 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 shame. 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 As they continue, they decide, okay, the boy's gonna come off, the old man's gonna come off, and they're just gonna take the donkey, strap him to a stick, put the sticks over their shoulder, and continue to walk carrying the donkey. Well, they approach a river, they need to cross it, they start wading through the water, the donkey freaks out, he shakes loose, slips, floats down the river and drowns. What's the moral of the story? If you worry about what everybody thinks, you gonna mess around and lose your ass. Now, how is this relevant today? Well, I'll start with myself. First and foremostly, I have been talking about starting this podcast for months. And I didn't start because I didn't know how I was going to be perceived. I didn't know if I would look the right way. I didn't know if the camera would be up in my nostrils. I didn't know anything. And I panicked every single time I started to record. And then I realized, man, it doesn't really matter. There is a sector of people in this world who are going to tap in to me, and that's okay. I am not for everybody, and I'm really not interested in being for everybody. Now, for those of you who need statistics to prove what I'm saying, I'm going to tell you about a little study that was done. So in Cornell, there was a professor, and he wanted to study an idea called the spotlight effect. And what he did was he gave several students these really ugly, embarrassing red shirts, and he had them walk into a large room of other people. Now, the students that he put in there with red shirts, he asked them a few questions like, how many people do you think are going to notice you? And all the students said, oh my God, like half, 75% of the room, 80% of the room are going to just look at me, point at me. This is going to be embarrassing. Do you know those students went in, stayed for hours, and walked back out? The professor went in and polled every single person in the room. And do you know that only 20% of the room could even tell you what those boys were wearing? In fact, a lot of the time, they didn't even know what boys the professor was talking about. So once again, sometimes we think more people are paying attention to the things that we're very insecure about, and they could care less. So if you have an idea, if you have a podcast, if you have a show, if you have a movie, if you have a business idea, and you want to get started, but you're not sure how people will perceive you, don't worry about it. In the words of one of my good friends, you're not that important. people really aren't thinking about you that much. So get out of your head, get out of your way, because every day that you don't make that thing happen, someone else will. Now, if you liked stories like this and you want to hear more, go ahead and like and subscribe below. And remember, the next time someone says, that's a stupid idea, you really going to do all of that? Look them in the eye and say, thanks, but no one asked you. Peace.